there is 9. Is it included? Yes, it is, because it's this continuous line here.
Okay. All right.
All right. Next problem here is let f of x equals 3x squared minus 2 to find the following value. This really leads in nicely to the next question. That's why I chose it. It means to take the t plus 1 and put it in for x.
Okay.
It's 3 times t plus 1 squared minus 2. This is really t plus 1 times t plus 1 in parentheses minus 2. You do have to FOIL this. You cannot just apply some rule that isn't correct. FOIL is the only way to go here. So you got t squared plus 1t plus 1t plus 1. Everything's getting multiplied by 3. 3t squared. So this is really 2t.
Yeah.
When you multiply by 3, it's 6t plus 3 minus 2. 3t squared plus 6t plus 1 is your final answer. Now, I don't think you're going to get this because I think you're really going to get the next one. That's kind of your classic calculus question is the next one that you'll see. But that's just something to consider here. So any questions on that before we move on from the next one
No,
here?
that's pretty
Okay.
straightforward.
All right. All right. For each of the following, so they're being really specific. They're saying like we want to get to C, but part A is to just do f of x plus h. That means to put x plus h in for x.
Okay.
So that's 7 times x plus h plus 5. I think it will accept this, but you really should expand 7x plus 7h plus 5. That's what I think it's looking for the first one. All right, now f of x plus h minus f of x means to take your result from the previous line, 7x plus 7h minus 5, and subtract f of x. Now, f of x is in parentheses. You really want to treat it like it's in parentheses because
Okay.
that negative gets distributed to both. And we talked about this idea that things will cancel. Basically, anything with an x in it will cancel. So the 7x there, cancel the 7x. I miscopied. That's why I paused there. Plus 5, plus 5. That's from this right here. I don't know why I miscopied, but I did. And plus 5 cancels minus 5. The only thing left is this 7h. So when you do this, the only thing that should be left over is an h term. So that's part B. Part B is just 7h. Part C is to take your result from part B. See how the numerator in part C is the same as part B.
Uh-huh.
So part C is to take the 7h, whatever you got for part B, and divide it by h, which ends up being just 7.
Okay.
And you tend to see something like that. It's usually a quadratic, but this one is linear. That's got pretty nice. We shall see.
Okay. Sorry, my roommates are so loud. I apologize.
I actually can't hear anything.
Oh, perfect.
So tell them to be louder because
Sweet. All right. All right. I think that's
I know I got
just
a cat that jumps in my lap sometimes, and then I wonder if that gets on the chat. He wants food. So graph the parabola and give its vertex, axis symmetry, and there's a bunch of other stuff here. So this is really like a graphing problem. Full disclosure, like you're not supposed to really do this by hand, but we can at least do the vertex. The vertex formula here is minus b over 2a. Do you remember that from a previous class?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, so a is the number in front of x squared, b is the number in front of x, c is the number of the other number here. And again, this is where it's really useful to have that technology. I won't put you on the spot and ask you to calculate this, but this is the kind of thing where you really want to have your calculator to be able to do this
Okay.
nicely. So this ends up being 4/3 over 2/3, which is 4 over 2 or just 2. And that's the x value. So it's 2 comma to be determined. So to get that y value, you have to put the x value back in. So x equals 2 back into the original there, which again, calculator,
Yeah.
is your friend. So, all right, so this is 1/3, 2 squared minus 4/3 times 2 plus 1/3. Let me grab my calculator. All right, so that ends up being -1. So that is your vertex. If you're on that problem, let me know if the next one is the axis of symmetry. It probably is, and then we'll figure out what's after
Okay.
that.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so the axis of symmetry is always the x value of the vertex. It's an equation. So it's in this case x equals 2. That's what goes in the box there. If unless it says like x equals then 2, and then the box is for the 2. Probably wants an equation though.
Okay. Okay. And then the next one is the x-intercepts.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're really getting into like the category of stuff we should do with a calculator.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We can still do it here. So the x-intercepts, just because it would help you. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like you need one and have to have one, but it's just gonna be better. So you set this equal to 0. You really want to eliminate the fractions, and there's many ways to do this. We're gonna multiply everything by 3. Okay.
Okay.
3 times 1/3, 3 times 4/3, 3 times 3. And what that does here is it eliminates the fractions like that.
Okay.
Let me just double check 'cause that doesn't factor. Huh. So this is quadratic formula, which I really don't think is emphasized in this class. We should probably not continue this problem unless you
Okay.
really want to.
No, that's
My
okay.
recommendation. Okay. But some formulas there you need, like you need to know this x equals minus b over 2a. That's really important. It will save you
Okay.
some time. The ax squared plus bx plus c. These are all things you've seen before, so it's not new. All right. This one says find any horizontal and vertical asymptotes, any holes that may exist. Okay. The first thing you're really supposed to do is factor the numerator and the denominator. This one doesn't have anything to factor. You can kind of factor a -1 out of the top, but that's not super helpful. Um, the holes are why you do this, but this one doesn't have any. And again, I don't think they emphasize this in your course, so I don't think we need to have any more discussion on that. The vertical asymptote down here is where the bottom equals 0.
Okay.
So you set the bottom equal to 0. 5x plus 4 equal to 0. You solve for x. X equals -4 for that. It says an equation. That means this whole thing here.
Okay.
So go ahead and type that in. Let me know if there is more there that is needed.
All right. It wants the horizontal asymptote too.
All right, great. So I saw a couple problems like this coming up here. So we talked this idea of being top heavy versus bottom heavy, or the same heaviness on the top and the bottom. And what we're referring to is the exponent, okay? So since those exponents are the same up here at the top, it's the ratio of the leading coefficients. So in this problem, it would be y equals -1 over 5. Is it clear where the -1 comes from and then the 5 comes from?
Yes.
And that's because it's the same heaviness on the top and the bottom.
Okay.
The case that we like even better is when it's bottom heavy, and then it's always y equals 0.
Okay. Okay. And then the next one is identify any holes.
So there are no holes because
Okay.
of the fact that there's no factors that cancel. You shouldn't see that. And from what I was told, because this looks exactly like the other student I was working with over the summer for the same class, it's all multiple choice, which kind of does change how we do some of this.
Okay.
You you won't be entering equations. You'll just have to find the one that matches. We'll try to bring that up. Like you don't have to use quadratic formula. You can graph it, find the zeros, and then match up the zeros to the ones on um, that are given.
Okay. And then the next
There's a
one
lot.
is just choose the correct graph.
Yeah. So I can quickly graph this.
Okay.
So you can see what it looks like.
I'll have my calculator on Friday. My parents are breaking it down.
I'm
Um,
happy to add some lesson times
yeah.
for you to help get you ready for the.
And then
So
I'll probably
just
book a bunch this week too, and I'll just use my roommate's calculator, which is the same one, so that we don't have to do the ones by hand that we don't need to.
yeah. So it's something like you're looking for some sort of graph like that.
Okay.
Hopefully there's one there that's reasonably close.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
All right. So please keep reminding me if I seem like I'm not um, telling you because there's this one. This one will be a multiple choice on your test, and you would just try the numbers in the equation. There's no reason to do this by hand.
Okay. What do you mean by try the numbers in the equation?
Like the
Oh,
answer
like plug them
A will
in.
be x equals 2 and B will be whatever the right answer, I don't know, x equals 4.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna do it by hand just because I don't it's faster for me to do it this way, but it ends up being 2 to the 4th times x plus 2 equals actually we can use 4 in this problem. Let me do that. Sorry. This will be slightly better. All right, 4 squared to the x plus 2. So this becomes 4 to the 2x plus 4 power, and then 4 third, 3x minus 7, 4 to the 9x minus 21. Okay, so this ends up being 25 over 7. Let's give that a try, please. Let me know if there's an issue with that.
No, that one was right.
Okay, so again, you would just try whatever the answers are. I'll
Yeah.
try to. All right, so this was one time value of money question. I don't know if this is on the test. I mean, it's not too bad if it is. So this first one is to find the interest rate required. Yeah, so this kind of will be a multiple choice question because the overarching formula that you need to know is the future value, future amount of money that you have is the principal, how much you start with, 1 plus the interest rate divided by the number of compounding periods to the power of the number of compounding periods times d. So you will need to know this formula. Your calculator can do some of this on its own, but if you take a finance class, you learn how to do that. Most students just remember the formula for this class.
Okay.
So for annually, that's once a year. Okay. So we're starting with 3,000. We want to get to 3,500. So it's 3,500 is where we're hoping to get to. That's A. We're starting with 3,000. And the interest rate is what we don't know. N is 1. That's what these mean. These are the values of n. N equals 1 to the 1 times 5 power. Okay.
Okay.
So here's how you would do this in a multiple choice situation. You would try the answers. One of them will be like A will be like 7%, and you'll know that that means 0.07. And you'll just try that in here
Okay.
and see which one gets you reasonably close. Like it'll be close. Okay, it won't be perfect, but it'll be close.
Okay.
To do this without without the answers, that's where you're doing your algebra. You're dividing both sides by 3,000. And so you have this 1 plus r to the power of 5 equals 3,500 over 3,000. To undo this power of 5 is the fifth root of both sides. Sorry, that's not how you would do it. You would go to the 1/5 power. And let me know if any of this is unclear.
Okay.
If you haven't seen this before, but like the square root of x is really x to the 1/2. That's the rectification for this. And then you subtract 1 from both sides. What does it say to round it to? Or does it just say to write the equation?
Right, yeah, right, an equation.
So it's probably this. I don't know how much time you want to spend, but it's probably that's what it's looking for.
Okay.
Maybe the reduced form. Sorry, maybe that's not the right one. Let me box in the right one. It probably wants the reduced form, which is this one here.
It said that's incorrect. Review the formula for the compound amount where the amount A is a function of the amount invested. Then substitute the given values of A, P, and T into this formula.
So I have no idea.
What is
So
this?
I would recommend we not spend more
Yeah.
time on this, but you can, I can look at your screens another time if we want
Okay.
to for that. All right, the next question I grabbed here is on logarithms. It says to solve the logarithmic equation. Be sure to reject any value of x that is not in the domain of the original logarithmic equations. What they're saying is you might get more than one answer, but you should check your answers.
Okay.
So there's a property of logarithms that says log base b of a plus log roots b of b equals the sum becomes a product. And that's how some students remember it, sum to product. So that means we're going to take this x plus 57 and this x minus 3, and we're going to multiply them together.
Okay.
Okay. So we will FOIL them at some point, but we don't have to right now. To undo log base 4, you use 4 as a base. So when you rate use 4 as a base because that's the base of the logarithm on both sides, it does undo that for sure.
Okay.
4 to the 4 is 256. Let me I think that might double check that. And then we FOIL this x squared minus 3x plus 5x minus 15. Yeah. So we end up we're gonna move this over. So we got x squared plus 2x minus 256 is minus 271. And I guess this factors. Well, that didn't work out very nicely. Does it say to round the answers? No, it
Just a
doesn't.
simplifier answer.
Oh, there's the problem. I missed a 7. Whoops. Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. Okay, I apologize. It messes up numbers. So this ends up being, just fix this right here. Oh boy, that's so bad. All right, minus 3x plus 57x minus 171. All right. So this becomes plus 54x. And then we move that 256 to the other side. So let me check and see if this worked. Minus 427. I don't know. That doesn't seem like it's any better. All right, so that does work out. Again, if you had a calculator, we would probably do this maybe slightly differently, but it ends up being x minus 7, x plus 61 equals 0 when you factor this. So you get two answers. You get x equals 7 and negative 61. That's where you've got to say, okay, that's a problem because it's telling me like Pearson is nice. Like they're saying like, hey, please check your answers. One of them does not work. And typically it's the negative one that does not work. You can sort of just use that as a general statement. So that is your only answer for this.
Okay.
All right. Now I feel like that transitions us into where well, there's one more logarithm. I think we could skip that.
Okay.
Let's go to the first kind of limit question. I mean, this is really where your calculus course starts. I mean, this is where maybe you're starting to see new stuff. in this class that you've never seen before from previous classes. So here we go. The limit as x approaches -3. So where is -3 on the graph? There is -3 right there. So this first one, A, you have to look at it and you really become two problems. It means from the left and then from the right. So it's as if you're traversing the curve. It's like you're on the curve and you're approaching that value from the left and then from the right. They approach the same y value, even if it does not exist.
Okay.
Do these approach the same y value?
Yes, right?
Yes. Yes. And what is that y value, even though it doesn't
Um,
exist?
is it 3? Or
The
right
y
there?
the y
0?
value. Okay. Now part B is use a different color here. It's -1. And again, you got to do it from the left and from the right. So here's -1. So from the left, from the right, do they approach the same y value?
Um, the same one?
Uh, There's the y
Yeah.
value there, and there's the y
Okay.
value there. Are they approaching the same one? Like imagine your parents came to this house and you're actually at this house. Like
Okay.
they're coming from, you know, Phoenix, you're coming from Tucson, you're gonna meet at a restaurant or whatever. Like, are they the same place?
No, because the Y value is different.
That's right. So for part B, it's gonna be the B answer. Does not exist. They have to approach the same value.
Okay. And then what's the answer to part A?
Uh,
The
0.
sorry. I thought you were circling it.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good.
All right. So okay. That makes sense.
Please ask if I am unclear because I probably am. And we want this to be clear. So you really want to know if it's approaching the same value from the left and from the right. And so this is called a jump. This one on the left here is called a hole.
Okay.
All right. Okay, this is a calculator problem, but we can do it without the calculator, but really it is a calculator problem. You're just putting the x value in for x. So up here in the top. So like for 4.9, it's 4.9 cubed minus 125 over 4.9 minus 5. And then you just rinse and repeat. You just do it over and over again until you get all of them. So it won't take that long the way I'm going to do it here. So I'll get you the full answer space, but you want this problem on your test because it really
Yeah.
is not that bad. So the first one here, 73.51. And it's just a 3 decimal place. The next one here, I'm going to put at the top, 74.850. 74.985. All right, so this one, we'll go back to the bottom here, 75.015. 75.15. 76.51. And then if there is a part B, let me know. It probably asks what it approaches here.
Okay. Yeah. Find the limit, select the correct choice below, and if necessary, fill in the answer box with your choice. And it says the
So
limit as x
yeah,
goes to 5.
yeah. So it's like, what is it approaching? It's like, see how this 74.985 and then it gets to be 75. So it
Mhm.
looks like to me it's approaching 75.
Okay. Okay, that was right.
Right. So what am I doing? Grabbing the next question. Okay, there we go. Okay, so one of the ways that you can do a problem like this when you have a calculator is you can try a number really, really close to 2. So you could try like 2.00001 or
Okay.
1.9999 or whatever. Um, Problem is that if you get an answer, you have to know like what it is as a fraction. So remember, your answer might be I don't know what your answer would be in this one, but your answer isn't this number. You're putting this number in for X and then seeing which one it's really close to.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that here for you, just to see if this actually will work on the problem. And it should. So X squared. I'm going to nip this, put it on the screen here in a moment, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So even though I'm using the Desmos calculator, like it'll be the same on your end. It'll look the same. So what I did is I put 2.001 in for X, and the answer was 1.499999875. What is this number really close to? What'd you
Um,
say?
1.5.
1.5. And then hopefully you'll recognize that that's a fraction, 3 over 2. And let's say A was 3 over 2, you would know that that's the correct answer.
Okay.
That's rather than us doing the calculus, the factoring, canceling, and stuff like that. You
Okay.
really can use your calculator for a lot of this test.
That's good.
Okay, let's look at a couple more here. Um, all right, so this one, whenever it's going to infinity, you do the whole top heavy, bottom heavy, same heavy. I don't know, same top and bottom. This one's got a squared on top and a squared on bottom. So this is the same heaviness on the top and the bottom. So it becomes the ratio of the leading coefficients,
Okay.
which is 1/2.
All
Is
right.
that okay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is there another part to this, or is that it for that one?
That's it for that one.
Great. We want lots of questions like this in your test. Here's
Yeah.
another one. Believe it's the next one. So this one is not the same top and the bottom. It's got a 3 and a 4. So this one is considered bottom heavy. That just referring to the degree of the exponent. So this always goes to y equals 0 or just 0 there.
Okay, that's easy enough.
All right, so looks like we should have snipped a few more questions. We'll see how far we got. I got 2 more
Okay.
that I didn't snip here. So here we go. It says find all values of x equals a where the function is discontinuous. So discontinuous can be a hole, it can be a jump, it can be a vertical asymptote. But we're looking for the x values. So this from here to here is considered a jump, and the x value there is -4. Everywhere else it looks great. So that is our only place where there's an issue. You can also think of it as like, can you draw it without lifting up your pencil? Up, I had to lift it up, or pen, and then I don't have to lift it up.
Okay. And then it says find the limit f of x for the a value found above. Select the correct choice below. And then
All
it's
right.
yeah, the a to the negative.
Yeah, so we're going to do this here as x approaches -4 from the left. Okay,
Okay.
so let me identify that. There's -4 from the left. What is the y value there that you see? Look,
-3, is it?
the y value, right
Uh,
there, not in red.
oh. Um, 2,
like
sorry.
2 up. Yeah, so 2
Yeah.
up. Then you're going to go to -4 from the right. This plus sign means from the right. So let me mark that down. That means from the left. From the right. And so from the right, you're coming this way. What y value does that approach up there? What
10,
10?
isn't it?
Yeah. And then the last one is like, well, it asks for the limit as x approaches -4. What you ask yourself is, are the previous results the same? Is 2 the same as 10?
No.
No. So since they're not, it does not exist.
Okay.
And we did one like that earlier where it did not exist.
It said that's incorrect. Carefully re-examine the graph, find the limit as x approaches a from the left.
Oh, the first one is this 2.
Oh,
And then the second one will be 10. And then the last one is, yeah, D and E.
so I just enter like 2 comma 10.
Just two for the
2.
first one. Yeah, so this is
Okay, I
this
see.
is this is part B, this is part C, and this is part B.
Okay. Okay, sweet.
Did that work?
Yeah, but there's another choice that says select the correct choice below and fill any answer boxes in your choice, and then it's f to the -4 equals, or the answer is undefined.
Okay, so f of -4 is the actual output. It's wherever the filled in hole is, which is 2.
Okay. Easy enough. All right, and then there's another one. It says identify which conditions for continuity are not met.
If this is a jump, maybe there's something that says jump in there.
It says limit f of x does not exist, x approaching -4. None of the conditions for continuity are met. F of -4 is not defined. F of -4 is not defined, and limit f of x, x approaching -4 does not exist.
It sounded like the one for part D where the limit as x approaches -4 does not exist.
Okay.
I don't know which one that was, like was the second or the third one you said. I'm also happy to look if
Yeah,
whenever.
that one was right.
Okay,
Okay, finally that question's done.
yeah. All right. Find the average rate of change. So that is a formula that you will need to know. The average rate of change, the A rock, is f of B minus f of A over B minus A. This is A, this is B. So you're finding f of 12 minus f of 6 over 12 minus 6. So f of 12, you're going back and you're treating this thing like it's a function. So it's really f of x equals square root 4x plus 1. F of 12 means to put 12 in for x. Square root 4 times 12 plus 1. Square root of 49, which is 7. F of 6. Does this look familiar? I assume we've done some like this.
Yeah.
Okay, good to hear. Square root of 25 is 5. These tend to work out nicely.
Okay.
They tend to. Now, there's no shortcut for this. Um, I'll try to keep remembering that you're doing multiple choice, but there is none. You actually have to work this out.
Okay.
I mean, there's a way you could maybe do it and get close, but I mean, this isn't that all that difficult. I mean,
Yeah. And you think
it's,
even though this is the practice exam and they aren't multiple choice, that the real test will be?
that was what the other student told me.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to be held, to that
Yeah.
standard, but it looks almost the same. And her name,
Okay.
what is her name? 'Cause she's got a ton of videos that'll have similar questions on there.
Okay.
Why can't I think of her name? Let me just quickly look. This is worth me looking, spending 30 seconds to find.
Yeah.
Because she did, what's the exact same class? Uh, no, that's not her. All right, that's On the YouTube, you look for Alexi B.
Okay, I'll write that
And
down.
she's really, really, really similar.
Okay.
Class.
And do you happen to know if she was taking the class because she was a community college student, or was she doing it as the same as me?
It looks really similar to what you're doing.
Okay,
I mean, it's like, yeah.
sweet.
Okay, if you want to share your screen, maybe I can talk you through a question or two, or
Yeah,
I can do some graph for me, go back to the early ones. That said, pick the graph.
we could do, because I do have to do all of them um to finish it, so
You,
we could do the easy
sure.
ones that are
Yeah.
first.
And you are sharing your entire screen, just as in case
Oh, shoot.
it doesn't bother me, but, all right. So this one here is a parabola that opens down. So it's either going to be B, C, or D. And then that +2 moves it up 2. So it's either B or D. And so the question is it left or is it right? And that's where you would graph it. The way this one actually worked is it ends up being right for. So I believe letter D is correct there.
Okay.
All right.
This one.
Yeah. Go ahead and we'll just actually, yeah, here I can do that real quick. For
Okay,
me, if that's okay, if that's worth it to you.
yeah.
Where did it go? There it is. All right. Um, um, 0.27 is the first one, 0.27, comma, 3.73. Now, y-intercept is it one an ordered pair? No. 1/3, 1 divided by 3. Okay, and then the graph, it's looks like graph B. Yeah, it looks like graph B. And you would see that. I mean, this is stuff you could do for sure. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
go ahead and run that. All right, let's see here. All right, so this one is it's a graph that goes to the right. They all go to the right, so that doesn't help. B is out because it's inverted.